Hello, and welcome to today's NinjaTrader ecosystem event, How to Find Hidden Trades. My name is Juanita, and I am the NinjaTrader ecosystem representative here in the NinjaTrader office. Before we do start today's webinar, I have a few housekeeping notes. This webinar is presented by NinjaTrader LLC, which is the technology company responsible for developing and supporting the NinjaTrader trading software. Any brokerage-related questions should be sent directly to our brokerage team using the following email address or phone number. Lastly, if you are new to NinjaTrader, please make sure that you sign up for a free NinjaTrader demo with real-time market data. Our platform is always free for advanced charting, strategy backtesting, and trade simulation. You can get a demo account by using the following link. Before I turn the mic over to David, it's important to understand that futures, foreign currency, and options trading contain substantial risk and is not suitable for every investor. It is possible to lose all funds, if not more than your initial investment. Risk capital is money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Also, please remember that these training sessions are not a solicitation nor recommendation, but simply educational in nature. Thank you again for joining us, and without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome to the NinjaTrader ecosystem room, David. Dave, go ahead and take it away.
Hey folks, thank you for being here. Hey, thanks for taking time today to learn about BuySide Global. Let me talk about what we're going to talk about here in just a minute, and then we'll get to it. So I appreciate you guys being here, and I hope to make this informative, even if it has nothing to do with BuySide Global specifically. I hope we cover a few topics, and you pick up a few gems here. So let's get started. Hopefully you can see my screen, how to find hidden trades here. And let's get started. Of course, we wanted to go to our disclaimer first to make sure you understand that we follow CFTC Rule 4.41, hypothetical or simulated performance results, certain limitations. We have a moral obligation. It's a rule and everything, but we also feel strongly we have a moral obligation to let you guys know if you haven't traded before, there's risk, there's loss involved, and that's important for you to know that. All right, so make sure you understand that no representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown here in the video. So I just want to make sure we covered that. Now I want you to grab a piece of paper, pencil for old school kind of, or take a picture of this screen with your phone. I want you to be able to get a hold of us anytime. Now there's our website, obviously, www.buysideglobal.com. That's how you get a hold of us. As far as there's a lot of information on our website and how you would eventually get to us when you want to get some more information about the specific stuff we're talking about today. And then you can always get a hold of us, info@buysideglobal.com. Now, someone intake will get that, and we'll get it to the right person. It's not an immediate response usually. We also have a phone number from that 435-659-8581. Send a text if you want to get on the phone with us. We can talk to you. Somebody will get back with you quick as you can. I'm more than happy to sit and chat and visit with you, even if it has nothing to do with BuySide Global. If you just want to talk about trading in general, if you have a rough spot, that's nothing wrong with that. So let me kind of go over the agenda for today. So we're going to talk about who BuySide Global is and myself. We're going to talk about some of our products overview, talk about how to find hidden trades. And again, we want you to take something away from this, even if it has nothing to do with BuySide Global. And then we want overview of the strategy. We'll kind of go into some details. We'll kind of dig into this a little bit, and then some trading examples. Answer any questions you might have. I'm trying to look at the chat while I'm doing this, and then special discounted offer for attendees. So I'm going to make sure you guys feel like you got a hookup and with BuySide Global for sure. So, and I can see the chat. If you wanted to type in something that, if you want to maybe tell me where you're trading from, well, I'd love to hear where everybody's trading from. I can kind of just glance that over my shoulder and then be able to answer some of those questions. So let's talk about who BuySide Global is. So we a company that does advanced order flow software for NinjaTrader. In fact, let me talk about NinjaTrader for really quick. We have really appreciated our partnership with these guys. Top of the line folks. I wouldn't want to use anyone else. I know there are other folks out there, but nothing but professional. Everything from my day-to-day job is trading, and so I trade on NinjaTrader platform. not just a partner with those guys. I'm a customer, and so I really appreciate them. I feel like they're top of the line. I've never had a hard time getting hold of anybody and help me with the problem I've had with NinjaTrader. So we just want to appreciate, uh, letting you guys know we really appreciate NinjaTrader and all that they've done for us. So we want to be able to help you make smarter decisions, entry and exit. Okay. Started in 2014, former Wall Street trader. We exclusively partner up with NinjaTrader. We do research and testing, R&D. A lot of revisions have gone into developing our software. So, and we got only the best team of programmers, and made sure we've got the best of the best out there. So, Venezuela. Okay, I'm just noticing that where people are texting me from, that we got them all over the world. Wow, United States. That's good. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody. Mexico, Hungary, Venezuela, Michigan, Australia. Love that everyone's here, and that's the thing. We are consider our family, part of the traders that associate with BuySide Global. We kind of feel like we're all in this together. We're all in this to make some money and want to do as best we possibly can. Got some Texas and some New York folks. So good. Welcome in. Welcome in. Glad you guys are here. Um, so just quickly about me again, my name is Dave Gear. Had a little bit of a journey to get here. Spent many years as an educator, a high school science teacher, um, and then needed more money. And you can go anywhere you move in a lateral movement at all from being an educator, you're going to make more money. So got into sales and really enjoyed that. And that was a fun challenge. And while I was doing that, many of my coworkers were doing some trading on the side. A couple were stocks, a couple were futures. And as I asked questions and actually saw them do some trades, I just caught fire on that. I just caught the vision of how great that would be if I was able to do this on my own and make good money doing that. So, and I've been trading full time for years. But I'll tell you what really happened. I was basically a break-even trader for a long time. You go from, if you've done this for a while, you'll realize that you're going from, you lose a lot of money at first. That's just how it is. Lose less money, starting to break even, and then you make more money. So about the time I can honestly say about the time I got a hold of BuySide Global, that was my breakthrough. I was able to manage my trades better and make better decisions on my trading, and basically stop losing more money than I was making. Was the way that I was grateful for BuySide. So now I'm a head trader here at BuySide Global. So that's enough about me. Let's talk about daily struggle. Hey, this is how it feels sometimes, right? You've got all this information coming in and have to make a decision, and really, um, the basically decision to trade, really a simple trader like myself, I just need to know when to get in, which direction, how much to risk, and when to exit out. And that's basically what it comes down to. But it's like getting a drink out of a fire hose, all this information coming at you. So it's pretty intense. So BuySide Global, we want to make the mission of making day trading simpler, but effective. All right. Software, there's no reason not to let the machines do a lot of decisions for you. You let machines do, hey, when to inflate your airbag. You let a machine do that. You let a machine decide when to turn your furnace on and your air conditioner on. You might as well let them be a little bit more complex and let the software do the hard decision stuff for you. And I just need simple and easy trade signals to follow. So that's what I like about BuySide Global. So um, that's it could be said, hey, it's trying to get in a maze, or you talk about the learning curve. We want to be able to make you get around the maze much quicker and make sure learning curve, we can't eliminate the learning curve, but that we can make it less steep for you. So making trade decisions a little bit easier. So let's talk about some more specific things about your trading journey. What you need trade entries. Okay, you need a signal to let you know when to get in. We actually have them. You can do an audible alert as well. If you're especially if you're a long-term investor, you can have that signal go off, and you know that's gone off, and you can get in a trade and make a decision. Or even if you're making short-term decisions, you have scalper or day trader, the audible alerts seem to help. But you get these trade entries, and then we want to use the filters. Okay, anybody can just click on. You can click any reason you can pick a reason to decide to get in a trade. What we want to do is make sure our trades are um, profitable. Obviously, that's what we all want, and so we want to filter that out. That decision, yes, no. You want to have a second yes, like that. And then we have trade management indicators. So once you get in the trade, I need to realize, once you pull the trigger on a trade, you're no longer a day trader. You're no longer a trader. You're a risk manager. you've switched over. So now you need some help managing that risk. So you need the best tools to help you with that. So let's talk about that, how we can help you with trading journey. So here's some signal indicators. In fact, that you want to write these down. These are the ones I want you to look closely at. The BG blue chip indicator, the BG supply demand indicator, the BG bear bull indicator, and the BG price action pattern. All these help you make a decision of when to get in a trade. Yes, now is a trade. Yes, that's a go. All right, we'll talk about these a little bit more in depth. Then you have filters, the supply demand indicator. Is this, yes, I got a yes, but is this a good spot to get in? And so these other filters will help you filter those as well. And if that's a yes, then you pull the trigger and now you're in a trade. And but now you need help managing it. You obviously don't want to get stopped out. You obviously want to make as much money as possible and not leave any money on the table. So that's the BG trailing stop indicators help you make decisions with those, and order flow zones will help you make decisions with those, okay? Because you're gonna have to make those decisions. And if you want a little help and have some confidence in your trade and some consistency, that's what these are for. So let's talk about the blue chip. Let's talk about the blue chip. Whoa, went a little far. Okay, we want to talk about the blue chip indicator here. It's based on order flow and breakout based signals. Okay, you're going to get a red dot or a blue dot. Can't make it much more simple than that. That's just up my alley. Is red dot, blue dot. I know red goes short, blue goes long. Okay, you get a triangle, right? And the base of the triangle is where we're likely to find order flow weaknesses, which is where you put your stop at. And then you get horizontal lines, that dotted lines, to tell you where your targets are at. And these, let me show you an example. They're not willy nilly. Even the dotted lines. There's a reason where they're put where they're at. So this would be a chart here. You get this all of a sudden, these all fire up at the same time. Okay, so you get this red triangle, you get a red dot, and then you get these horizontal lines here. And if you decide to get in this trade, then you pull the trigger on that, you go short, and here's your targets. And it's amazing, these targets get bounced off of. There is a reason they're put where they're at, and they're there before the price gets there, and you can watch them hit there and then bounce off and then push through. And then your stop is where you put the base of the triangle, is where you put your stop. And then the trade, and this is where you're most likely, what this means is you're most likely to get your target hit before it hits the stop. And so let's show an example of a long. Again, you get this blue dot, you get in the trade, you pull the trigger, you got the stop at the base of the triangle, and then you have this horizontal line for target one and then target two. If you have multiple contracts on, obviously you want to get hit that first contract, and then you can stretch it out and you haven't hit your second and third contracts. And then here's another one formed up right here, but we won't have the rest of that. So let me show you a whole day. What does that look like for the whole day? And these print, and they're stationary. Once they're on, they're on. It doesn't adjust it or move it around. So this is, I imagine, the openings over this area here. This is about 2 weeks ago. It's on a 1 minute chart in the ES. So this signal formed up here. This is where it suggests you put your stop. And then this line here is probably for this signal, maybe a signal back. You get used to these signals after a while. I like a clean, clear chart, but even I can follow this pretty good. So you see it hits its target, and it is interesting. It bounced off, and if you want to stay in this trade, what you probably want to do is move your stop up really quickly, because once it hits these targets, typically it bounces off there. Another signal, another target, it's hit, another signal, another target. These are just hit down there. Now, let's look what happens when it doesn't hit. Okay, so this one, it's really easy to point to these. They're just real successful. Here it goes. Here's your dot. Here's those 3 targets. You usually get 3. Here's your stops down here, not even threatened at all. But look at this. This happens. I suspect this was after the close. This happens where the target will fire up. Sorry, the signal will fire up. Your stop goes here, and it fails to proceed down there. You guys know that the market can turn on a dime. It only takes one person with a large enough order and the ability to swing things around, and that happens sometimes. I'd be remiss if I didn't point that out, that these signals sometimes what we call fail, and you just have to know that, and you have to realize that you have to treat this as a signal system where you're going to have X number of successes and X number of failures. And just to know that, I just want to point that out, that these are definitely failures. These are, like I said, I think this is after hours, in which the market typically is a little bit slower. paste. Um, so I make sure you understand you don't want to take all this is excuse me, you don't want to take all these signals. That's what I want to say is this is a system, and then that's what we're talking about, these filtering. So if you'd seen this, and there's probably a reason not to take this trade, we want to filter this out. So let's keep going and talk about that. This is a filter, okay, the BG supply demand indicator. And again, for a guy who likes clean, clear charts, this takes a little adjustment to get to, but if you know where these are, it makes a big difference. So let me explain what this is. The light colored, the green stuff, that's where the buy orders are at. You can think of that's where my bulls are sitting at. These are where the long orders are sitting at, and they print real time. So if this was an actual chart, this would be over here. But let's look at what happened. So here's where the buyers are, and up here the darker colors are where the sellers are at, or where the sell orders are at, or you can think of that's where the bears are at. And you do get these pink and blue indicators. Now, what you want to do is use these as a filter. So you go long on this blue. So let's say you got a blue chip and you got this blue triangle. What you do is you check and see how far am I away from this block of sell orders. Well, if I'm right here, it's maybe a good time to pull the trigger and just ride this up to into there. Now you're going to get into the cells, and it's typically going to bounce off that. Now it broke through it here, but then bounced off it, and another set of orders comes. This is always reforming as your candles reform. And then you got a sell signal right here. But if this block is right here, would you have taken this signal? So you're already kind of seeing how our uh, filtering system would work. You're not just take every signal and then you have to filter it through. Hey, is this a good idea? And so if you have a couple layers of filters, this really helps you out. Again, right here, I wouldn't have taken this long nor this short because of the resistance and support you're already in. Would I have taken this long after it breaks out of these sellers, after the buyers overcome these sellers? That's one way to think about that. Then it heads up along that way. And you can think of these however you want to do it, however makes sense in your worldview. We all know there's a buyer for every seller, but for as long as you can see how the market would continue to move up past this area, that's what's important. Okay, so let me be more specific about this. So here's how you get in. So if I got in on this long signal here and I check for distance and if it's a go and I pull the trigger, I'd put my stop right here at the base of this, just 1 or 2 ticks below where the buyers are going to come in at, because if it fails through there, it's going to continue to go down. I don't want to be in that. So I put my stop down here and I put my target just below where the sellers are at right there. So just a tick or two below, because obviously if it gets up into here, then it's going to bounce back off that and you'll lose your profit. So just harvest it before it hits up into that resistance area. So that's how you trade a long signal. And I'd be remiss if I didn't show you a short signal. Again, I see this triangle come in, and somewhere in this bar, this triangle forms up. I make a decision. Hey, I don't have any buyers to hit me at right here. I'm going to get in this trade, and so my stop loss go just above this, and my target goes just below it, hits into that area. So, do you think, and you feel free to answer, do you think that you could make decisions if you knew where the buyers and sellers were at? Um, so let's get to how to merge these strategies, okay? So these strategies right here, you use a second trading strategy as filter confirmation, okay? So that's why I say you got to make a decision on getting in. Hey, there's a good spot. It's telling me to go ahead and get in, but you want to use a second strategy to filter that out. So it's kind of like getting a second opinion from a doctor. You're going to use, if you get 2 yeses, then you know, hey, that's what I need to do. If you get a yes and a no, they don't agree, then you don't take the trade. Okay, if they can contradict, you don't take that trade. So then I'm going to explain how you merge this together. So you got 2 powerful strategies, the indicators, and then you trade when they both agree. That's what we're just saying. That pull the trigger on a powerful signal. You got 2 doctors are saying, yes, you need this surgery. You pull the trigger on that surgery. Okay. And if one say no, then you maybe have another opinion. There's some question there, some doubt there. So we don't have any doubt of that. So pretty powerful tool. So let's talk about the strategy. So you blue chip fires up, you make a decision, you look at your supply and demand and either get confirmation or you don't. Plus the BuySide Global Trading Playbook, we'll talk about in a second. And this is going to contribute to greater consistency. If you're filtering your trades, and think of that as like, I don't know, Swiss cheese, slices of Swiss cheese. You can have these slices, if they're all mixed up, oftentimes the holes won't match up. But if you get a couple that the holes match up, then you can take that trade and feel confident about that. And this BuySide Global Trading Playbook, we'll send you this to you uh, upon anytime you order any of that stuff. So this will help you, set up your charts and how to add indicators and which rules. This will be basically your trading Bible as you go through this stuff. So it'll help you out with that. Okay, so quick glance. Let's talk about trading strategies real quickly. We want you to understand that this is a suggestion. You don't have to do this, but this is a lot of our folks find success. So chart setups, folks usually use a 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, depends on what they're trading, of course. Well, most of our folks are successful with candlestick bars. A lot of and in any instrument. I mean, we talk to people all over the map on the, love the NQ. I do not like the NQ. I like the ES. I like CL. I'll do oil once in a while. But we have a lot of folks that love Forex that do great. We have folks that do crypto and stocks, of course. And then the blue chip is indicators on there, the supply demand indicators on there, and the trail stop. That is what we're looking at for. And it does not work with just minute charts. You can use it for all the charts out there that use ticks, that use gosh, what else is on there? There's a dozen of them on there that you can use to help make these trading decisions. Okay, and so use blue chip, supply and demand, and then the trailing stop on there. And then here's the entry signals. Obviously, we're going to get Renko bars. That's what I was trying to think of, Bob and Lavelle. They asked me those questions. It's Renko bars. So primary trading chart signals to start. You either get the blue chip long or short, and then the secondary signal would be your triangle that you saw on there as well. Okay, so those are your primary signals to now you're seriously thinking about getting into a trade. And then you want to filter this out. You want to check against the trading strategies. You want to use because you're going to have these trading strategies and able to before you book the trade. So all rules must be satisfied, like we talked about. You sort of skip the trade if one rule is not satisfied. If not both are satisfied, you want to skip that trade. And then if you're not sure, you're going to skip that trade. Write this down. This is something I want you to understand. There is always another profitable trade around the corner. There is always another profitable trade around the corner. If that one, the one you're looking at, looks like a dog, don't take it. There's always another one coming around the corner. Okay. So I'm going to pull some strategy rules out of our playbook to show you. I'm not going to give you all of them, but just a couple of them. Some of them just make sense. For example, if you're close to, if you get a long signal and you're close to this red resistance, you don't take the trade. It's too far away. You don't want to take a trade and have it pop up and hit those resistance levels and then push back down. To me, there's just not enough meat on that bone. So that's one of the trading rules you'd have, is you don't take those trades when it's too close to that. Having these here, so one way to eliminate that is you take this signal off. You're like, well, I wanted to take that trade. I don't want to know where those sellers are. Obviously, that'd be silly to not have that. If you have a powerful tool like the BuySide Global supply and demand indicator, it's great inside information to know where the buyers and sellers are at. So that's nice to have that. And here's rule number 3. So not enough room between support and resistance. Again, if you get the short signal and you're already buying into, you're selling into buyers, not a good idea. Okay. Could you make some money on that? Maybe. There's people that use reverse flow. There's people that use all kinds of strategies, but this is not something I'd want to take. There's just not enough room there. So let's check another trade rule. Trade rule number 4, when there's a short signal from the BuySide Global, so you get the short and this confirmation from the second indicator, which is the supply and demand, then you pull the trigger. That's a great trade right there. Even if it just goes down to here, you move your stop down really quick to profit, and then you pull out some points out of that thing. So that would be a great trade to take. So yeah, great question. Someone's asking me about, it's not specific target in mind. You can set it up for your own. When we talk about this, you can set your own targets up if you want. Obviously, with your automatic trading management through Ninja, you can set that up to take a profit. But if you're wanting to let these things run, or if you want to do, if you have multiple contracts, you want to get as much as you can out of every trade. I'm sure that's how everybody feels like. Um, if you're looking for a run, but so a lot of times people do multiple contracts. Their first target will get hit at, say 2 points. And Steve, we didn't. Good question. We didn't have. I didn't. I just skipped around. I just pulled random 3 or 4 rules out of the book. And didn't have those down. That's to encourage you to get this in your inbox. Get this trading strategy rule sent to you. Um, so you can let them, we can let them run, but you also want to lock in some profits. That's what I'm trying to say, is you want to maximize your profits by getting some in, lock some in early, and then letting it run if it's going to run for you. So that's where it comes in handy with these levels, where they'll put those target up for you. So that's rule number 4. Hey, if you do get combination and you get cleared space, take that trade. So that's rule number 4, for example. All right, so let's get to simple trading rules and strategies. So another rule, for example, rule number 6, that's only good valid for 1 or 2 bars. In other words, if you're on let's say a 15 second bar, or you're doing Renko bars, something like that, if you get past 1 or 2 bars that they are set up and you haven't been able to pull the trigger, don't take that trade. Okay, so these are just signals, or sorry, rules that you're going to get that you'll be able to use. You can incorporate those if you want, if you don't want to, but if you want to be successful, this is oftentimes you need to have some rules to help you to make decisions. Again, anybody can pull the trigger on any trade anytime, and maybe it'll go for you. Maybe, but we don't. I mean, tend to people don't that do this and make money on it aren't into this the maybe thing. So, so a question about the triangle and dot only showing after the bar close. Yeah, I'll get back to that. I'll get to that, Vance. That's a good question. Um, so if the bar closes, those are still there. I think you're asking me what happens to those. Those are still there. You can go back and you can pull that trigger on a trade, but if it's too far past your entry, it's possibly the move's already been made. So let me keep going with this. So the more rules, obviously, with the trading strategy playbook, I just want you to know that's available as well when you make a purchase here for us. Let's get to the indicators and talk about how to trade the management. I want to go into this a little bit more detail, and I'll talk about the dots for that. So one thing I want to do that help you when you do the management. So we're talking about the management side of this. This is the BuySide Global Trailing Stop Indicator. This is probably our biggest unsung hero out there. You notice the 3 different colors. Obviously, green, things going up; yellow, things get choppy; and red, going short. There are people that make trade decisions based on this. This helps them filter out those trades, or help them make a trading decision. Like when the price pierces through this, it's a great signal to go short, for example. But this helps you maintain your trades, helps you stay in the trades, and helps you know when the trade's over. For example, when it starts pulling back and hits into my BuySide Global Trailing Stop Indicator, I'll get out of that trade. I'm like, oh, trend's probably over. If there's a lot of distance between it, I know that the trend's going great, and then it starts getting closer. You can pull the trigger on that and get out of that trade. So that's one of my favorite ones. So let me kind of show you a little bit more about that. You asked me about the dot. So let me show you about somebody asked me about, so you would get this signal right here. This blue dot would show up, and this horizontal line would show up. You get at least 2, sometimes 3, and then the triangle. And I think you're asking me how to manage the trade. So you would, if you pulled the trigger on this, if you felt comfortable about this trade, like I said, if you're filtering it with another indicator, you would get in long right here. Say you missed the dot for a second or 2, or maybe it's this on this bar and you come in and notice that, you get long right here, and then you put your stop at the base of the triangle, and then you notice that it already passed maybe that first target. The chance of it going to the second or third target goes less, but if you were, say you were in this target or in this trade and it goes up and hits you, I think that's what you asked on it. Yes, you can use chart. Yeah, Bob, you can use Chart Trader on NinjaTrader. I use Chart Trader. So what I do is I see that dot, and what I'll usually do is I'll right click and get on Chart Trader. I can't, obviously this isn't a chart, this is a screenshot, but I'll right click and get Chart Trader on and put a buy order up here somewhere, so it's out of the way. And then when I see these, because you kind of think, okay, the trend's generally up, let's wait for the perfect signal. Then I grab my Chart Trader order, my buy order, and drop it in as close to the price I can, and then get in, and then I adjust my stops and my targets. I hope that answers your question. So, and it says, how are the targets predetermined when the buy sell signals are posted? It's based on what's happening in order flow. It's based on where those the order flow is indicating, hey, this likely to get here before it goes down to here. I don't know everything that's in the mix in that, but I know that it's the signals are sorry, the targets are very, very powerful. So okay, so what I wanted to cover on this is, so you use this trailing stop to run that trade. So the trailing stop, it lets you know, hey, just going to follow this on up here. And then once it gets penetrated, boom, when the price penetrates the trailing stop, get out of the trade, okay? Trailing stop's really good for less volatile days, for these long, long trendy days where you're pulling out large amounts of points out. The trailing stop is really great signal for that. Let's find something that's not so great for less volatile days. So order flow zones indicator is again another indicator we have to help you run the trade if we're in that. Okay, so let me go back and make sure I've covered everything on that. Yeah. Okay. So the order flow zones. This is another indicator, a very powerful tool. Changes color, and blue obviously long, yellow's when it's a little bit choppy, and then obviously red's short. You also get these triangles, and then you have these horizontal lines that instead of targets, these are support levels. So this would be a great place to put your stop at in this situation. And then when you notice how it just continues on, says, hey, it's getting choppy. And then when it gets down here, you get a red signal. That signal's probably over. So this is another way to manage your trade. Another great indicator we have here at BuySide Global, the order flows indicators. All right. And then for high volatile days, when it's a little bit choppy, the order flow zones is a great tool for that, because for obviously high volatile days, you don't want to get chopped out, but you don't want to risk too much, and you want to be able to stay in the trend without getting too nervous. For example, so these are the order flow zones indicators. So notice these dots, these actually dots were put up by the bot. We'll talk about in a second, but these dots are indicative of these horizontal lines where the stop would be right here. So the first thing happens is you get above your entry point right here, and then you move it up. And so if I saw these yellow candles right here, I'd get a little nervous. Oh, I'm going to get chopped out. I'd move my stop up too close, and I'd get out of this trade. Now I would have made some profit, but I wouldn't have made as much if I'd stayed in. These help you stay, even if it's choppy. Helps you stay in the trade. Now down here, I would have hit, like if I had been trying using my trailing stop, would probably got out of that right there. But notice it continues on a little bit. You can knock out a little more profit out of that thing, and eventually get out. So the BuySide Global Order Flow Zones indicator, powerful tools as that as well. Somebody's asking about the free trial, the order BOT. No, sorry. Hey, this is why it's not up to me. I would hand that out to everybody, because the more people that trade exactly the way I do, the better the order is going to flow my way. So, yeah, and Heinz, I thought about that too. I know that it looks very similar to the other company. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that other company on during a webinar, so I'm not going to say it. But it's got some good accuracy. I don't know about that other company's accuracy. I know they have it. I know they exist, but I just know these really work well with the order flow and has a lot of people really enjoy using this. So, but I do know exactly what you're saying about that company. All right, let's talk about order flow zones indicator again. You can use it for a trade indicator. So again, you get this triangle here. You get in, you put your stop at the base here, and you just move it up until you're just going to follow this until it turns. You can get out when it turns yellow if you want, and then you get this short signal right here, and then just follow it down. It gets yellow. I get nervous. My stop would be moved up pretty quick in that, but it keeps you in these trades, and to continue to move that down until it pops you out. Again, it's a great indicator. Again, if I was using the order flow zones alone, I would use another filter though to make sure, see where my buyers and sellers are at. So, all right. And you want to combine these stop loss strategies. So the trailing stop, actually, you want to do that until break even's reached. And then oftentimes we use the order flow zones to stay in the trade longer. Let me show you what I mean on that really quickly. So down here, this is the same screen we shot, but so this is where you got in at 37.20 right here. This is the ES. So we got in right here, boom. And I would have used this trail stop until, and kept moving mine up until I passed my break-even point. And then I would have used this stair-step method because it keeps me in these trades longer. It lets me stay in um, instead of like, so if it would have come down and I was getting close to my trailing stop, but it's nice to be able to keep in these trades and let it do its whippy around. Let it be whippy as long as the trends in general, and I've caught a good trend. I'm gonna stay as long as possible. Like here, I would have gotten out or down up in here, this area, dig out over here. But it's a great tool to combine those. Again, we're talking about layering these things on here. So now that's the great indicators we have in this. Next indicator I'm gonna talk about is brand spanking new. You all, everyone in the sound of my voice has heard of price action patterns that people use all the time. Okay, all the time, and it's hard to be able to find these yourself, and you have to know what to look for. And it takes and anytime you talk to somebody that uses those, they've spent hours and hours and hours looking at charts. That's not my cup of tea. I'm Mr. Get in, hit my profit target, get out, enjoy the rest of my day. But if you had a machine that could do that for you, would you be interested? I think you would. So um, let me show you an example. For example, rising wedge. This is a classic um, pattern that people see. You have these wedges that often result in a reversal, for example, or a breakout, for example. And so, wouldn't it be great if you had a machine that could find these for you? Okay, so that's what we've got introduced. This brand new. This is brand new. This is the first time anyone's been hearing about this outside of our team. Is the BuySide Global Price Action Pattern Indicator, and I get to introduce it to you guys. So it is great. Like what other classics? Do you guys remember any other classic names for price action patterns? There's one that's everyone knows about. I'm going to talk about next. It's the well, I'm see if anybody point. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Wanda. Good job. Yeah, the head and shoulders. That's exactly right, and that's what we've got here too. Head and shoulders right here. Again, classic pattern. Um, the head forms here. Here's your shoulders. You don't know it's a head and shoulders until you finally see the last little bit of it. But if you had a machine, if you had an indicator that would chirp at you and let you know, hey, there's a pattern forming right here, and then it even gives you a little signal like, so boom, since it's going to reverse, that's a drop down, boom. That's a great reason to get in right here. And again, that's a reverse head and shoulders right there. You start looking for those. So as those head up back there, you'd make that decision. Again, you make it maybe filter through another indicator as well. But these are classic indicators, or sorry, classic structures that form all the time. All the time, these are forming. So those are let you get into these great trades for that. So that's available. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Now, speaking of new, I want to cover one of the last things we have, which is an amazing uh, item here that I'm really proud to be able to present as well. And we've had parts of it come out. We've got this is the full version here. So I'm glad you guys are able to hear me introduce this. This is the BuySide Global Chipper Trading Bot. Okay, it's an automated trading strategy. Okay, and it works with all these trading strategies we've covered. Okay, and it takes so earlier when I was talking about how you got to wait for the blue chip, and then you check your supply and demand, and then you get in the trade, and then you got to manage the trade. All that is just you making it. You're reacting to something that's happening. Well, guess who can react even faster than you? That's it, your computer. So this is basically based on the blue chip signal fires up, and the machine looks at that and says, okay, we're prepared for taking a trade. It confirms it with BuySide Global Supply Demand, just like I would do that. And then you get to trade manager or exit by using the trailing stop and order flow. Someone's asking me about the help you evaluate it, or passive evaluation on like for example, a prop term. Um, it would be wrong of me to answer that with a yes or a no, just because there's so many things in there. The best way to say this is it's going to help you make trading decisions. If you're already making horrible trading decisions, then you're probably not going to pass a trading prop evaluation anyway. Um, if this will help you make better decisions, then it should be able to. But again, I got to be careful what claims we make here. It's important for us to help. Again, we have a moral obligation to be straight and talk forward about things like that. So let's talk about the trading bot a little bit. So brand new trading engine, proprietary AI algorithms. We got customizations and alerts. And I say customizations, it scares guys off like me off. I don't like to hear customizations because I'm like, oh, that means I got to build it myself. And no, it just allows you to pick and choose what you want to do. Okay, I have no development experience. I'm not a programmer. I can barely, if there's anything outside of what my just normal day-to-day use of computer, I've got to get some help. And, so I'm not great with this stuff, but I am really confident and able to enable things. And you can enable and mess around with a little bit. You can test it. You can, back test and live test these things, paper trade this for a while and make sure you've got it just the way you want it. And sometimes it's really nice to click something and say, oh, that makes it even better. So, and it helps with risk management. Okay. So let's talk about more. For example, really quickly, even if you only use this for your stop loss, this would be a powerful tool. Let me explain why. You got three options: fixed, zone, and trailing. I'm going to talk about each one of those really quickly. A fixed stop, I think that makes sense to everybody. I get into trade on the ES. I want my stop to be 2 points, 3 points, whatever it is, and it stays there until if the price goes against you, it hits you, and you are out. You're done. You can have one of those on these. Okay. Trailing stop, you say I want it to be 5 ticks away from where the market's at. You can have those as well, where it's just going to follow up all the time, and as long as the market's moving up, it's going to continue ratchet up there 5 points, or sorry, 5 ticks away from the price. You can have that as well. That works really great. Or you can use those zone stops. Now that zone stop is what I was just talking about, those little incremental stair steps where it picks the best place based on what's going on with order flow and volume, and will adjust it up and down as the price moves up and down. It's not going to move back. None of these move back below where you have, but it lets you stay in for longer trades, which again, if you're able to stay in longer trades that are going your way, your pile of winners should be larger than your pile of losers. Okay. So, and then, it's enabled to do that. You just click it, fixed stop loss ticks, you put in 16, whatever you want it to be, and you click it. And it's a really nice, and by the way, it has a max as well. It says, hey, this is like a double confirmation. Get me out if it goes down below this and this amount. I'm going to get out of that thing. So it's nice for that. Yeah, someone's mentioned about ordering a trading bot. You absolutely got to test it with a free trial. Yeah, there's a lot of bots out there. We would highly recommend that you paper trade anytime you switch anything. If you get new monitors, or you buy a new computer, or download anything that's extra, something that's out of your ordinary, please paper trade it for a while. That's the beauty of being a retailer trader. We don't have to take a trade. You don't have to go to work every day, and you don't have a profit target you have to hit or you're going to be fired. That's the nice thing about being a retail trader. You can stop and paper trade for a while and get things adjusted. So we highly suggest that. So, okay. Some more features. So you can again, but target this again. This is a really nice one as well, because you can pick how you want the target to run. You got 3 options again. You got fixed, a run, and blue chip target. So the blue chip target would be that first horizontal line that's printed, whether it's red or blue. That'll just get you out when it hits that. It'll close the trade out. Nothing wrong with that. Those are nice because they are, the chance of those getting hit is much higher than thinking it's going to run for 300 points for you. You can also do a fixed target. Say, hey, I want 8 ticks. I got to get 8 ticks out of this. Or, if you trade in the NQ, you got 100 ticks. I want to get out. I like to make fun of the NQ. So if you're trading the NQ, my apologies. But and then the nice thing is you can let it run. So if you let it run, what that means is it's not going to get you out until it hits your stop. So if you had one of those the stops from before where you're letting it run, the stop is going to continue to move up, okay, through those zones, and or your trailing stop. If you want it to hit that trailing stop and get you out, you can set it up to do that and get you out. So again, it's going to keep in these trades a lot longer hopefully to maximize your potential to make those make a great trade. So yeah, and I want to make sure I mentioned we don't offer free trials of our products. What I'm saying is I want you to paper trade before you make any kind of changes, no matter what that is. So okay, now one more thing on the trading bot. So then the future features I want you to go over there is this is very powerful. This is it's called break even. Okay, so what you can do is you can set it so you know how the trades happen so fast. Sometimes you just like quickly you're either in profit or you're in a loss a little bit really quickly. But so what this will do for you is you can tell it, say, when I hit 7 ticks or 5 ticks or 2 ticks, whatever you want to set it up, when this hits 7 ticks, I want you to move my trailing stop up to 3 ticks of profit, 3 ticks past my entry point. So when I'm 7 ticks past my entry point in profit, I want you to move the stop up to 3 ticks or 2 ticks, or you can 0 ticks. You just move it to break even. It'll do it for you immediately, much faster than you can react. And that is such a powerful tool. It saves. How many times do you get in and you hear the word stop, uh, stop target hit before you even know what happened? Sometimes the market just moves quickly like that, and um, you're out before you even know what happened. Whereas if you could have got a few ticks before it went reverse, you could at least pull out a little bit to pay for the commissions on that. This is a very powerful tool to keep you from losing money on a trade that even would have given you a couple points, but then came back and slammed down against you. This will get you back to at least profitable or break even when you're in the money. Okay, and then it exits. Obviously, if the trend reverses, it gets you out of that. So pretty powerful for that. So a few more features. I want to brag about this a little bit. I tend to go on and on and on, but again, it uses filters to confirm the trade signals. It does everything you can do. It just does it faster. It does it much, much faster. It helps confirm these trade signals in a fraction of a second. Okay. I have to think like, oh, I got to make breakfast pretty soon. Is there milk in the house? Oh yeah, that is a good signal. I think I'll take it. Okay. That doesn't have that feature of having to wonder or worry about what you're gonna do the rest of your day. It uses trends and order flow to determine trade entry. Okay. And it uses estimated target ticks to determine trade entry. So in other words, you can set it up so that, hey, if there's not enough room between when I get in here, if you're going to try and get me in here, but there's hardly any space between where the sellers are going to come in, don't get me in. You can tell that. You can filter that as well, and it works on any instrument. Again, we've got people that trade in forex and cryptos, stocks. My niche is the futures, but it works with anything. So, and you can use multiple bots. You can run 2 bots simultaneously, separate windows, separate market, whatever you want to do. It'll run multiple bots for that. So, and then you can intervene at any time. That's the nice thing about you can click and have a pause and leave the house. I've run the bot a lot. I've had it take live trades for me. It's well, one person's testimonial is not going to matter, but I just want you to know that I've never left the house with it running. I've left the room, but it's nice to be able to come in and I can just click pause. Like I gotta leave for a while, so I just hit on pause, and it's able to not. It disables it for it's not going to take any trades. So I come back in, or in the middle of the trade, you can just close the trade out, obviously, and tell it to not take any more trades for you. So you have control of that thing. That was one of the things I was really nervous about at first. It was like, what if this thing just chews through my account and I can't shut it off and get a margin call or something. So, but it's very easy to control. I'm very assured very quickly. So, um, got a question about optimization, and we'll talk about that. I think what you're asking me is like, can we tune it up? And that's the answer is yes, Colin. Okay, so the trading strategies you would use it built on the powerful combination of indicators. Again, it uses our proprietary artificial intelligence algorithms from the blue chip, feeds all that in supply demand, trailing stop and order zones. And again, it's customizable. It's got alerts if you want it to give you alerts, and then you can take over management if you want to do that. So it's basically 100%. Now, the reason why would you want to use this? Not just the speed, but I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about emotions. It removes the emotion out there. If you're like me, you get in a trade, that first couple nanoseconds or seconds when you're not sure if the trade's going to go your way, I just go through it's just trauma. It just creates trauma. You're just like, oh, what do I do this for? Why did I get in this trade? This is the worst idea I've ever had. I'm the worst person. My dad said this wouldn't work. I mean, that's it. I'm making it dramatic a little bit, but that's one of the nice things about this is it takes out the emotions out of there. It's a true trading bot. You can just set it and go. And again, you can turn it off, turn it on if you want, and it just removes that emotion and it just lets you trade um, the system. You set it up to do what you would have it do if you could do it that quick. Okay, and just does all the heavy lifting for you. It just decides to get in a trade. It checks the confirmation. Oh, I've got enough space here, and then I'm in the trade. Now I'm going to reduce the risk as quick as I can, and now I'm just going to let this thing go. And that's the beauty of that thing. It's a really powerful tool that way. So, and yeah, platforms. Somebody asked me about platforms. BuySide Global can be used on. Yeah, it's anything that NinjaTrader can chart, it'll chart. Okay, and this only works on NinjaTrader. So in other words, there are other trading signals out there. Uh, I don't think it's wrong for me to say Sierra Charts is another trading platform out there. This wouldn't work with Sierra Charts. I've used their stuff before switching over to a NinjaTrader. But this only works with BuySide Global. Sorry, BuySide Global with anything that NinjaTrader produces that has signals and has charts. This will work for. I hope that answers your question. So. And then Steve got a question on the link. Email us real quick, info@buysideglobal.com. We'll get that fixed. I'm not sure what's going on. We'll make that take care of you. So that's one nice thing about automated trading strategy. If you're like me, you can, let me just give you a personal anecdote. I like being the trader. I like the one making the decisions. I recognize my limitations and my shortcomings. Um, but I can pull out my profit target most days. I enjoy being in trade. I enjoy catching long runner trades. Everybody loves that. I don't like getting stopped out. Um, so I was worried about these Autobots are just going to take over the world, and they won't need me anymore. The nice thing is I can still trade my system, but I can use the Autobot as well. For example, I can turn it on in the evening when how it just grinds through really slow. You may catch a trend, but it just goes really slow. So that's how I typically use the Autobot is I'll let it grind through a couple hours worth of a few points worth because I don't want to sit there in front of the computer. I've got other better things to do. So um, that's the way to go it. So somebody asked me about, can you set up private VPN and just let it run alone? There's no reason you wouldn't. I wouldn't say to do that. There's no reason you can't do that. It's your account and it's your trading bot. I would just recommend, just because maybe I'm a control freak, but I would say you would set it up and obviously paper trade it for a while. Let's see the results. Let's see how it's going. Tweak it and get it set up, and then then let it run. You don't have to take control, but you can let it run and let it do its thing in the background and just let it go. We have a lot of people that have used these and just let it run in the background. I haven't left the house yet, let it run, but I've left the computer and then come back and say, oh, nice, picked up a couple points for me on that one. So yeah, it's your responsibility though, and your risk. Obviously, anytime you take a trade, you're taking risks. Okay, so when we talk about the trading strategies, it's updated with the blue chip supply demand merged trading strategies. This is the chipper trading bot. We've added that second confirmation. The supply and demand is added to help as a filter, and then we've added in the trade management, trade risk areas of that as well. So, does anybody have any questions with me so far? How about trade copiers? I don't know the answer to that. Someone's asking me about trade copies. What that is you can sign up for a service where you put your money in and then they'll just your machine will do what the machines they'll do. I don't know the answer to that. I'd rather just tell you I don't know than and again, shoot us an email, info@BuySide Global. Someone here has the answer to that, and I don't know the answer to that. But let me take just a second, answer any questions. Let me make my screen a little bit bigger so I can see. Oh, the link. Yeah. So there was a link that's not working, but it is working. Okay, good. So we've got Personal email. Oh, yeah. You can get a hold of me. Just do info@BuySide Global and address it to Dave, and someone will get it and then shoot it to me. So they'll send that over to me, and then I can reply back with you. Uh, that's not a problem. And the bot works best on minute bar. It depends. Ron, that's a great question. Ask me what the time frame. Here's the deal. There's as many time frames as there are traders. Okay. I personally like shorter time frames because I'm the guy. I just needed a couple points out of the market every day. Um, but it depends on what you're trading. So obviously we have swing traders who would want to use the bot to just stay in these, grind out these long trades, multiple days, and 1 minute wouldn't work for them. So that's just kind of everybody has their own different way they do it. So trade copier supplied by Apex. Okay, yeah. And then system and actual trade simulation to demo how it works. What we could do, that's a great question. You want to kind of see how it works. What we could do, if you send me that email, info@buysideglobal.com, we will set up an appointment where we can be on the computer. You can monitor my screen, or I can monitor yours, and you can see me trade with Autobot or any of these indicators. If you want a little demonstration, listen, I'm all day long talking about trading. I mean, I'm not at my desk all day long. Like I said, I got other things to do. I'm usually out by the time about maybe the market stays open, maybe another hour about an hour after opening. I'll be around trading. But then the rest of my day is talking about trading. And if it's not going to be you, it'll be probably some of my family or friends, and not everybody's as into it as you are, is my family, for example. So I'd be more than happy to set up a time with you and just kind of demo how this stuff works. That'd be a treat for me. I'd like to do that. So can we get the indicators from any of the links you shared? Yes. So here's how you get those indicators. In fact, I'll cover that in just a second, but you just go to our website, www.buysideglobal.com. Okay. All right. So let's get to just last little bit here to explain. This is where I step out of my trading hat, and it doesn't fit very well, but try and talk about the prices. So let me talk about the prices for this stuff. So this, if you were to buy this, somebody on our website yesterday or the day before, the indicators are $495 a year. Okay. Now the chipper trading bot is $1895 per year. Okay. Let me get to, that's not what you're going to pay. Okay. I told you I'd give you a hookup. This is a great value at this price. Okay. But let me get to the pricing today. So first thing I need to write down or take a picture of this, enter the code NINJA25. Okay. We can get 25% off any of our indicators, including the bot. Okay. And here's how you do it, www.buysideglobal.com. All right. Now, the chipper trading bot, normally $1895. Great value. Nothing wrong with that, but you're going to pay $1,400 for it if you pull the trigger on that in the next day or so. So you get the trading bot, $1895. The blue chip, you also get the blue chip. You can use it at your leisure or with the bot. You get the trailing stop indicator, you get the supply and demand indicator, you get the order flow zones indicator. So if you added those up, that's $4,000. Okay, you're not paying that because you sat through this whole thing with me. You're going to get this for this value. Okay, so again, you got to enter this code. Is how you do it. You enter the code. If you need it, let's walk through. You can again email us. We can walk you through it, or you can just go to our website, plug in NinjaTwenty5. It'll give you this discount. Each indicator is $371, and the chipper trading box is $1,400. Okay. Then let me get to this one more added thing. We've got one more thing to add on. Because if you spend more than $600 with us, in other words, if you get a couple indicators or get the trading bot, we're going to throw in that BuySide Global price action pattern indicator again for free. That's from me to you guys. So I want you to have something to kind of make sure that works out. So a special discount code for today's attendees, yes. And that's how you get that in. You plug that in. Let me get to the shows again. The Ninja 25 is going to give you that discount, drops that indicator down 371, and then $1,400 for that. So you get 4 indicators. You get $4,000 in value right there. And you purchase this app is a subscription. You have it for 1 year because we want to update that. It's going to be tweaks. We want to be able to make it better. And so we want to be able to be able to upgrade that and make it better. So we put the last screen up there. I'm running out of time here really quick, wrapping this thing up. So this pricing is only good till Sunday PM Eastern time. Okay, and here's how you get it. Go to our website, take advantage of this offer. There's our information again. Any questions really quick? We've got I'm running over time, and I think that's all I have unless somebody has some really quick questions. I'm going to turn the time back over to NinjaTrader. And thank you guys so very much. We can answer these questions maybe through email as well. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much to BuySide Global, to Dave and Rob, who we have in the room today, who's been answering your questions, for taking the time to share with us. If you enjoyed today's session, we'd like to remind you the information provided in this was that of BuySide Global and not of NinjaTrader. All information is for educational purposes and should not be construed as trading advice. Enjoy the rest of your day. We do hope to see everyone in future webinars. Happy trading from everyone here on the NinjaTrader ecosystem team. A great weekend to everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today, BuySide Global.
Hey, thank you, Anita. Thanks again so much. Thanks, NinjaTrader.